Hello fantastic people, I hope you are doing great. Today we'll learn how to add custom cursor to your game. You may be thinking, oh Peter, but it's extremely easy. You just go to the project settings, player, and then set the default cursor. Done, right? Oh no, don't do that, seriously. First of all, it will prevent you from doing anything crazy with your cursor, like animating it, rotating, and so on. But most importantly, it is not fully supported by WebGL. So if you want your game to be playable via service like itch.io, you'll have very tough time. And I just wish I had for you recording from La Maestra, where the cursor was taking like half of the screen. So what do? First we drop our cursor sprite into the editor. We click on it and then change its texture type from default to sprite to the end UI. Then we change the sprite mode from multiple to single. Also remember that if you want your cursor to be pixel perfect, you need to change the filter mode from bilinear to point. Then we click the apply button. Then to the canvas, I'm going to add an empty game object. I'm going to call it cursor. However, it is not going to be an image. This will be used to position the cursor so that the clicks are registered in the correct place. You'll see what I mean in a moment. I click on the cursor object and change the mode to 2D. Then under the cursor object, I create a UI image. I set its source image, and then I check the checkbox Preserve Aspect. This will make sure that the width and height of the image are always in the correct ratio. Then while holding Alt and Shift, I change the anchor preset to the top left one. That's because I want the pivot point, or rather the anchor point, to be at the very fingertip. Then I move my image so that the fingertip is at the very center of the cursor object. Here having the cursor parent object makes it very easy to align the image as we want. Because we'll be moving the whole cursor, not the image itself, you can easily, very precisely set the point where click will be registered. Now we need to create a script. I'm going to call mine cursor UI. First I create a private field for the rect transform of the cursor. Then one for the parent canvas, its rect transform, and the last one for the canvas camera. In the wake method I get the rect transform from the current component. I get the canvas from its parent, and only if it has been found I get its rect transform. Ultimately I need to get the canvas camera. However, the camera is needed only when the canvas render mode is screen space overlay, and the other way around. If we have anything else than screen space overlay, we cannot have the camera. Otherwise the script won't work as expected. Now let's create the main method. It's going to be called onPointerPositionChanged, because we'll add it as part of the subscription to the pointerPositionChanged event, or rather action. Because of that, it has to have a parameter of type inputAction callback context. If we don't have cursor or we don't have the canvas rect transform, we simply return and do nothing. Otherwise, from the action context, we read the position of the mouse. Then, using the rect transform utility, we convert that position into the position on the canvas. If the position was processed successfully, we assign it to the anchored position of the cursor transform. Now we need to add a serialized field for the pointer position action. If you are getting an error here, you are probably missing the import at the very top of the class, the UnityEngine.InputSystem. Then on enable we subscribe to the performed event of the action. And similarly, we unsubscribe it on disable. Now to make sure that the default cursor is not visible, we're going to change its visibility by using cursor.visible. For now I'm going to comment out the line in the onEnable. This will allow us to see the relation between our cursor and the default cursor. If needed, this can be used to tweak the positions. Now on my cursor object I'm going to add the cursor UI script. And then of course I'm going to fill the pointer position action reference. I'm going to use one of the default input actions called UI point. Let's test it out. Yay! Looks like the position is perfect. Now I can safely hide the cursor and test it once again. Fantastic! If you find this tutorial useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Have a fantastic day, love you and bye bye.